All right, Namaste, Habari Gani, Hotep, Assalamu Alaikum, peace be unto you, peace, peace, and peace. All right, so things that have been, I guess what I'm going to do on this one is just talk about marriage. So I'm going to talk about marriage, and of course, as with everything, this is just my perspective. It has nothing to do, it may not be your path, but I will tell you what I've been seeing in my meditation and in my, my meditation time. And first thing is that when it came to marriage and all the meditation that I've been doing, because I've been seeing all of these things where people have been saying that they're having trouble finding mates or this, that, and the other thing. And I think that a lot of it comes from things being transactional instead of relational. And I think I went into this on one fastest 15 minutes one time. But I want to go a little bit to a little bit deeper level with what I was getting in the spirit. And once again, I think a lot of it came from things being more transactional in our time frame than being relational. And then there are other factors from the outside that were put into marriage that weren't there at the root. And which is funny because I talked to two of my best friends in life, and one of the words that they kept saying was the root. And of course, one of the concept of African spirituality is what? Returning to your roots. And I know people don't want to hear this because it's not like, popular right now or whatever. Maybe it is popular. I don't want to say that, but returning to your roots, returning to the elders, returning to the ancestors, and understanding that that's where the knowledge, all of the knowledge and the wisdom, that's where it comes from. And when you reject, and I'm not saying that striving and going into the future is not good, but I also know that when you strive into the future, you should also maintain a connection to the root. A tree can't grow unless it has an intrinsic root system. It has to have a root system, a plant. Nothing grows without a root system. Everything has darkness. The seed starts out in the dark before it gets to the light, right? So it's all a part of the process, but the whole thing of balance and everything like that. So everything starts at the root. So the first thing that I've been seeing with a lot of people is they're looking at marriage from a transactional point of view, not a relation point of view. And so even though marriage is a transaction, but it is also relational. It's a relational transaction, but it's more relational than it is transaction, especially and what I'm speaking of is people who like put the transaction first, or are going at it strictly from a transactional or even from a lighthearted or not a very deep place of thought or a deep place of knowledge of what they're really, of what they really want, or what they really think they want. So, and so a lot of times what they're doing is they're getting into a relationship. And once again, this is why we always talk about taking out emotion and taking out feeling and all of that out of the equation at first. Because here's the thing: if you have to have the mindset that you want to be a husband or a wife or a mate, and you have to take that mindset. Because if you, that is, if you want something that's going to last any length of time. And I don't even believe in time. So anything that's gonna, you have to think of it as a life process. And then I think back to the people that were in my life that stayed married for long periods of time, and there were a couple sets of people who were like that. And one thing that I got from observing them or looking into what they were doing was the fact that they actually treated each other as equal parts of their flesh. Because everybody that I was always around, they were either Muslim or they were, most of them were, and even if they were Muslim, most of them were Nation of Islam Muslims, or they were Christians. They were either, and most of the Christian people I knew, they were either AME or Baptist, right? And but the thing about it was that, or Catholic. I'm sorry, I should say that. And I knew a lot of people that were Catholic. And then as I got older, I saw people who were Jewish, who were other sects of Islam and all that kind of stuff as I started to get older. And then I also saw different Asian groups of people because of the Vietnam War. We started having a lot of Amerasian children. We started having, just the intermingling of all of that. So there was a lot of different things that I saw, and what constituted a husband, what constituted a wife, and then what constituted, what went down within the marriage, and everything was different on different fronts depending on what it was. But the one thing that everything had in common was that it was like almost completely relational, and they treated each other as being one, which came down. And so in Christianity, which is what I know best because that's what I taught and that's what I studied for so many years, is, and this is just not saying that that's the better way or anything like that, just saying that that's what I know, or that's what I studied, and that's what I have a PhD in. But I still consider it to be a broken clock once again, and a broken clock is right twice a day. So this is one of the things. So the Bible calls marriage a mystery. It says it's a mystery, and it says certain things like calls the union or the bond one flesh, and all of this thing, and then the New Testament, when it later on goes to describe or whatever, it says that a man wouldn't harm his own flesh or whatever. So if you consider or and I'm not trying to make this gender or anything like that specific, because actually it doesn't really have to be. Because if you're in a committed relationship with that person and you become one with that person, that takes literally, because and then now through my experience, I understand that this takes a long time. I've been trying to even with my with my wife, it's taken. I'm still learning her, and she's still learning me. You can't. People are so intricate that it takes like a long time to learn them. But it makes me happy, and it makes me smile to like learn that person. But if you feel like that's not what you're in the game for, like if you're not in it for that, then it's never gonna work. No matter if it doesn't matter if it's a marriage. And it has to be, and then all of the things that go on, it's never equal. At this point, it's just never equal. And so people who go into it for a transaction, see, because transactional stuff, you expect, you have an expectation. Relational stuff, you kind of don't have, because of the other things involved. Then, because see, once you get into it, then you understand, you have to understand, okay, you got to understand the balance in the relationship. If I love this person, if I care about this person, if I'm unconditional with this person, if this is my partner, if this is my friend, if this is my homie, right? If this is my buddy, and for sure this is my best friend, then when I think about them, or when anything goes wrong or anything like that happens, then I have to have that. I have to have it from the relationship, the relational thing, because I understand that the transaction is only temporary. The relation is like forever. Because and then to say that you find somebody that is your soulmate, I try to tell people, I hate that word. I hate the word soulmate. I hate that. I hate that whole thing. And the reason why I do is because your soul constitutes, nobody has my soul. Nobody has your soul. Nobody has anybody else's soul. Now we could have the same spirit. We could be spiritually connected. We could be kindred spirits. We could say, okay, yeah, we view, we could view things, or we could have been, astrologically or whatever, or astrophysically born within, the same